Welcome back to Horrors Worldwide. Today I'm going to explain an American supernatural horror film released in 2009 called Drag Me to Hell. Spoilers ahead! Watch out and stay safe. The movie starts in 1969 in Pasadena, where a couple bring their son to an exorcist named Shaun San Dena. They tell her that their son stole a necklace from a gypsy woman 3 days ago, and since then he's been seeing an unknown presence which has been terrifying him and causing intense shivering spells. The gypsy woman isn't taking the necklace back or helping. Shaun tells them she can help, but after she takes him into the house, the presence returns and destroys the interior of the house, cracking the floor of the house and dragging the boy into a fiery pit. Shaun vows that she will see him again, and the scene ends. In the present day, we meet Christine, a loan officer working in a bank. On this particular day, Christine asks her boss when she'll be promoted to senior assistant, but he replies that it'll be between her and another new hire, a man named Stu, and whoever works harder will get the position. During lunch, Christine meets her boyfriend Clay, who is a professor who loves to collect coins, and she gives him an old coin she had found. Back at work, she sees the new man sucking up to the boss, which really upsets her, as she has been working here a long time and has worked very hard. Soon after, an old Roma woman with one stone eye and really long sharp nails comes to Christine and requests an extension on her house loan due to her poor financial circumstances. Christine takes the matter to her boss, who tells her that these small things are what will determine the promotion. Usually Christine would not have rejected the extension, but due to her determination to be promoted, she tells Ganoush, the old Roma woman, that the loan cannot be extended, and when the woman starts crying, Christine calls security. This move makes Ganoush feel so insulted that she tries to attack Christine, but is thrown out of the bank by the guards. Later that night, as Christine gets into her car after work, Ganoush is sitting in the back seat and attacks her. Christine manages to push her out of the car, but also gets dragged out. The woman twists a button off of Christine's coat and mutters something over it. At this point, Christine faints. When she wakes up, Ganoush is gone and the police are there asking her what happened. The next day, Clay takes Christine out to make her feel better, and on the way, Christine sees a fortune teller shop. Clay is skeptical, but Christine insists she has questions. Inside, the fortune teller named Josh charges her $60, but as soon as he sees her palm, he has a vision of demons and hellfire, and quickly lets go of her hand. He returns the money and tells her to take care of herself because someone has cursed her, and that her missing coat button is linked to the curse. Clay, however, scoffs at this and takes Christine home, telling her that this is all a fraud. Once Clay leaves, strange things start happening. Christine starts seeing strange shadows across the walls and hearing noises, and ultimately she is attacked and faints again. She calls Clay, who comes over and tells her that she is probably sick, and that's also the reason she must have fainted the day before. However, Christine denies this and insists that what she is experiencing is real. The next day, Christine goes to work, but over there she hallucinates that Ganoush is at her desk again. Her nose starts bleeding profusely and she vomits blood all over her boss. In the chaos, Stu steals a file from her desk without anyone noticing. Embarrassed, Christine runs out and goes straight to Ganoush's house to beg for forgiveness, but is told by her daughter that Ganoush has passed away. The daughter tells Christine that she knows her mother cursed her and that she deserves it. Confused and terrified, Christine rushes to Joss, the fortune teller's shop, and asks for his help. He tells her that she has been cursed to be tormented by a powerful demon named Lamia, who will torture her for 3 days before dragging her spirit to hell. But she can save herself by sacrificing an animal so that the curse shifts to that animal instead. Christine is reluctant, but Joss tells her that the tortures are about to get worse, and what she has experienced so far is nothing. Back home, things truly get worse because now she starts seeing the shadow of a horned figure everywhere. Things start flying around in her house and she is dragged to the ceiling. Reluctantly, Christine sacrifices her pet kitten to save herself. In the next scene, we see that Clay has come to meet Christine and proposes to her and asks if she will agree to meet his parents. Christine happily agrees, and when Clay comes to pick her up, she greets him in a stunning yellow dress. Taking along a cake that she baked herself, Christine is making a good impression, but when they cut into the cake, she starts hallucinating again, thinking that Ganoush's stone eye is in her cake slice. She also starts hearing strange noises. At first, she tries to ignore all this and act normal, but eventually the voices drive her so insane that she throws a glass at the source and starts acting completely crazy. Clay's mother is horrified, and as embarrassed and traumatized Christine runs out, she tells Clay that this girl isn't suitable for him. Christine rushes to Joss and, infuriated, flings over a table accusing him of lying to her and saying that she sacrificed her pet cat for nothing. Joss tells her that Lamia has too strong a hold over her and that there's only one woman who can help her now. Christine insists, so he tells her that the woman charges $10,000 and that there's still no guarantee that she'll be rid of Lamia, but that this is her best chance. Christine tries to borrow the money from her boss, but he rejects her loan, saying that Stu has already been promoted because in her current mental state, Christine does not deserve the promotion. She pawns some items but still hasn't raised enough money, and she's sobbing over a tub of ice cream when Clay comes to the rescue. He lends her the money out of love, even though he still doesn't believe in curses and demons. Christine goes to the address given to her by Joss, and we see that this is the house of Shaun San Dena, the same exorcist from the start of the movie. Inside, Christine meets both Shaun and Joss, and Shaun tells her all about the little boy who she couldn't save, and that she still hasn't forgiven herself for being unable to save him. She further explains that Christine's curse is very similar to the little boy's, but that she'll try to save her as much as she is able to. Shaun calls her assistant and asks him to bring a goat, and the four of them sit at a small table with the goat there. Shaun explains that she will summon Lamia, and as soon as Christine feels its presence, she is to put her hand on the goat so that Lamia takes the goat's soul instead. She then instructs her assistant to kill the goat as soon as Lamia is in it, and this will break the curse. However, the ritual goes horribly wrong, as Lamia initially possesses Shaun, and when Christine forces Shaun's hand on the goat, the now demonic-looking goat attacks the assistant when he tries to kill it. The demon is now in possession of the assistant and tries to attack Christine, but Shaun wakes up and manages to drag Lamia out. In the fighting, Lamia escapes and Shaun succumbs to her injuries and dies. Christine is heartbroken at the number of people who have died because of her. Joss tells her that there is only one way to break the curse now. She must put the cursed button in an envelope and give it to someone else in order to pass on the curse to them. Clay drives Christine home, but on the way they almost hit an old man. And due to the sudden braking of the car, the envelope with the button falls out of Christine's bag and gets mixed up with some other documents. Back at her house, Clay asks her to meet him at the train station, saying that they can do some traveling together and also figure out who to give the button to. At home, Christine considers giving the button to Stu but decides against it. At this point, Joss informs her that she can also give the button to a dead person. After hearing this, Christine decides to make the curse go full circle and goes to the graveyard where Ganush is buried, digging up her body and putting the envelope in her hand. After this, she goes home and happily prepares for her weekend away with Clay. She is further cheered up when her boss calls her to tell her that Stu is fired after he confessed to stealing the file and that the promotion is now hers. However, things go completely south at the train station when Clay hands her the envelope with the button, completely unaware of what this means for Christine. The poor guy wants to propose, but Christine is horrified when she realizes that she gave the wrong envelope to Ganush. She backs onto the train tracks, and just then some fiery demonic hands erupt out of the ground to drag her to hell. Clay tries to rush forward to help her, but he has to retreat when a train speeds by, and once the train is gone, there is no trace of either the demonic hands or Christine. At the end, he stands on the tracks with tears in his eyes, staring at the place where Christine vanished. So folks, that was Drag Me to Hell summarized. What did you think of it? Do you think Christine deserved this fate? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.